story. This story happened to me when I was a child. One night, I came home late after football practice, exhausted, starving, and trembling with hunger. It was just me and my mother living at home. I thought she had left me food in the kitchen, like always, but when I walked in, I heard voices, soft, unclear, like someone was already there. I thought it was my mom talking to a guest, but when I opened the door, no one was inside, just a tray of food waiting on the table. I sat down to eat, but suddenly I realize I am not eating alone. There are strangers sit around the table and staring at me. Their faces I'd never seen before, pale, expressionless, and watching me in silence. And here's the terrifying part. Suddenly, I just realize that none of them are alive. Now let's dive into the narrative together.
Hello, my name is Tay. It happened to me since childhood. It was the night that I was sitting and eating with the ghosts without even realizing it. After that, it was the worst nightmare that haunted me every night until now. Let me begin with a very scary story. The story goes back to the time when I was children around the age of 15, 16 years old. I'm from the countryside. I only graduated from high school. I had to work quickly to earn money. There were only 2 people at home, me and my mother. Because my father passed away, the children and other relatives were all gone. I am a football crazy person. I play it a lot every day after school in the evening with friends in village until around 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. before returning home. It was like this regularly and nothing happened on the way home. I never cooked the food because my mom will prepare it for us in the kitchen every day. During Happy New Year Day, there are competitions for the annual football game. So I practiced very hard, from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. It made my legs hurt. I almost had no strength to walk. I returned home with extreme hunger. I was so hungry that I was trembling and thought that mother must have food waiting for me. And at this point, I have to tell you first that the kitchen is behind the house I live. It's separated from the house. That night, before walking into the kitchen, I heard a sound. It was like someone was doing something there, and there was a sound. They talked softly, unable to understand what they were talking about. I thought it must be my mom talking to someone. But when I went into the kitchen, I didn't find anyone. In the kitchen is really quiet, and little light from lamp. I saw the tray of food on the table. I stopped. I immediately thought about it, and when I opened the lid, I found that there were 5 packages of sticky rice on the tray, 2 types of curry, and fried chicken with chili paste, with fresh vegetables arranged in sets. I almost wanted to bow down to my mother's feet in gratitude. It's high, and without waiting, I hurriedly took out the tray of food, carefully left the kitchen, and sat down to eat. The marble table on the side of the house was not far enough from the kitchen. Once seated, I proceeded to unwrap the rice. Immediately sticky, the first bite of curry soup felt like a little bit spicy because my mother usually makes it. The food was delicious, but that's not the case.
I continued until I had eaten several bites and knew. Feeling that his throat was dry, he got up and went to get some cold water in the kitchen. Then when I pick up the bottled water and return it, I'm really surprised because there were 2 people sitting at the marble table, an old uncle and a grandmother. I didn't know each other before, and both of them were making sticky rice. I went in and sat, wondering who these 2 people were.
when they came into the house and felt annoyed. While the two of them were intent on eating, they didn't care about me at all. I just sat and looked at them like a mute person. Can't think and tell him where to start. How should I say this? Because I have never been hurt by anyone in my life. I've fought for food like this before, but not even 5 minutes later, that man spoke up. "This curry is delicious. Ibua also makes it like this." The Ibua he's talking about is my mother. It shows that they know my mother too. So I thought that it's not someone else, someone far away like this. Then grandmother added another word. "People from last year didn't see it done, so had to ask in order to do it. I agreed to let him eat." That's all they said before eating, continuing without paying attention that I was sitting there with my head raised. In the end, I asked them, "Wait a minute, who is this uncle and where does he come from?" That uncle stopped and slowly turned to look at me. I just noticed at that time that his face was as pale as a person without any blood, and his lips were dry. I continued to eat with my hands, and now I couldn't bear to swallow my saliva. Stay on one side and pick up sticky rice and dip it in water. Curry went along with them, and then there was a moment. I picked up some fried chicken in front of grandmother. She stopped and stared at me with murder in her eyes. But I pretended that I didn't see it. That old man said, "Wait until you're full first." Later, we sat and ate together without realizing it. A moment later, 3 more people appeared and sat around. How they got here without any sound? I was shocked. There was a young man around my age with a mother and another, a small child, with a pitiful appearance. All 3 sat and ate without greeting or asking. A few minutes later, the grandmother spoke up. "You've come so late. This young man has eaten all of our food." Then they looked up at me with their white, cloudless eyes. That small child saw it and got goosebumps. He lowered his head and continued eating without saying anything.
This time, I stopped sitting and looked at them. How they came with confusion, but I just think in mind, what the hell is this? I just happened to have met someone that I didn't know before. They compete for food. I went to talk to my mother and didn't see her at home. Then there was a moment when the child suddenly became irritated because he couldn't reach the fried chicken. Then grandmother reached out and gave it to him. The little boy was very happy. It's like a family sitting down to eat together. Actually, when I got to this stage, I could only let it go. Let them continue to eat. So, I got up from the group and walked to the kitchen. The intention was to go find any fast food to boil it myself. And the moment I walked out and heard someone's voice, I don't know, spoke behind me, it wasn't enough. There are people coming to steal our food. I almost want to take off my shoes, foot, and throw it to the center of the circle. That's my word. It must have been someone who said this. I went back into the kitchen to look the fast food in the pantry, but then was surprised when I saw a plate of rice with 1 curry on it. I began to wonder if it was normal for my mother there will be leftover food in the pantry. Just 1 or 2 items is enough to make me full, which means that the food in the tray must not have been made for me. But I already ate all those food because there were 5 packets of sticky rice and they fit all 5 strangers. So when I thought of this, I hurriedly went out to take a look, but then I was surprised that no one here. I was standing at that marble table. The atmosphere was direct. It was quiet. I walked over to look at the food tray. I wondered and saw that all the food were eaten. Eat only a little bit of each thing. Plus, there was only one package of sticky rice that had been opened. It was my package, and what I saw confused me. I went in and couldn't say anything, feeling stuffed until I was full. Immediately, my mother came home. I told her what happened at the moment. Let's listen to all the events that we encountered. My mom said that she made it to pay respect to the ghosts of my grandparents. They don't look at the horse's eyes. Grandfather took care to put the lid on the cheese and actually opened it to eat. I was stunned. I thought my mother had cooked it for me. What about the ghost? Now I told my mother who it was. Some people also came to sit and eat, including grandparents and children. There were 5 people, men and women in total. My mom replied, that were our older relatives. They passed away for a long time, since I wasn't even born. Broken down somewhere else, so I don't know anyone at all. It's the photo album that my mother brought for me to look at. In the photo, there were pictures of all of them, and some photo also had my mother. The same thing I saw so perfectly that I got goosebumps. It all shows that I'm sitting and eating with the ghost of my older relative. Mom said that's her younger sibling. Then we didn't talk anything and back to bedroom. At midnight, I had a stomachache and went to the bathroom several times. At first, I thought it was normal diarrhea, and I also had a fever and headache, so I took painkillers. Then go to bed. After half an hour had passed before I felt a sharp pain in my stomach. It was as if my intestines were about to burst, and I couldn't stand it. I had to writhe on the bed and yell. I called my mother many times. As soon as Mom entered the room and saw me laying on the bed, I couldn't say anything because my stomach was too pain. I could only lie down and moan in pain. Mom came in and asked what happened. The symptom looked severe stomachache, and then she left the room to run to my neighbor house to ask for help. About 5 to 10 minutes later, and my mom came back with an uncle lived next door, came to help carry me. Got in the pickup truck and taken to the hospital. The doctor said my stomach hurt because of food poisoning. It is caused by eating food contaminated with germs.
Suddenly, I think about the food on the tray. It made me have to lie down and have a stomachache. I almost died when I thought about it. You know, my mother is a person who cares about cooking. Every step is guaranteed to be clean and safe. It's not a matter of cleanliness. It might be related to the spirit of my relatives. Those people might be dissatisfied and make me sick. I got it, which was interesting to think about. That night, the doctor allowed me to come home and sleep, but my symptoms still include fever, headache, and stomach pain. Some time ago, before going to bed, my mother took my amulet necklace and came to hang it for me. At first, I still didn't understand why she did it. I asked, "Why are you hanging it?" My mom replied, "Because I'm a person who doesn't wear any necklaces." All that until I lay down for a while, the headache, stomachache, and fever disappeared, and I turned off the light to sleep. I miraculously returned to feeling normal. The next morning, which on Happy New Year Day, well, I went to compete in football until the end of the program and continued playing, splashing water with villagers until nightfall, and then returning home to my mother. The same set of rice dishes as before. This time, there is both the flowers and the candles and incense sticks. She told me to come and ask for apologize. I apologized to the spirits of my relatives, but before asking for words, I asked with some doubt, "Why do you have to make offerings in the kitchen? Why don't you go and pay respects inside our home?" My mother explained that during my grandparents' time, the kitchen used to be the house where the spirits of the ancestors stay here. He lived in this house and later built another new house. Another house went up, so this place was changed to a kitchen. After they passed away, but their spirits remain in the same place at the same time. To pay respects, you have to bring food to pay respects in the kitchen and then continue the matter. The reason why I'm asking is the person who came to help me the night before. Then my mom told me one story. She was shocked. Do you believe? My mom said that night when she entered my room, she saw Grandpa's ghost standing there. He was on top of me and used his feet to rub my stomach in anger and irritation. When she saw that, she was stunned. The grandfather's ghost look up and smile at my mom. Then, Grandpa's spirits disappeared. Because of the matter of me eating the noodles, it was for spirits of my relatives that my mother had to give. When I came to pay my respects and ask for forgiveness from them, I lit one incense stick, raised my hands together, and swam over my head and spoke, "I'm sorry about anything that I did nonsense. I really don't know." I said something like this and put incense sticks on the cup, put sand next to the pole, which I noticed when sure enough there was already one incense stick, which was when Mom made it yesterday. Yes, when everything was finished, my mother and I leave the kitchen and close the door completely to keep out the dogs. The cat ran in, and we went back to the house. As for me, I went to sit at the marble table. After a while, I heard sound like someone was there in the kitchen, with the sound of people talking inaudibly. After a while, I was sure that they had already arrived. Goosebumps all over. The image of each person's face still lingers. It didn't go away until after sitting for a while, it started. Curiosity arose about them. What were they doing? So I decided to get up and walk. I went to the kitchen. Just as I was about to reach the door, I heard sound like people were eating. Anyway, I tried to put my face close to look at the hole, small by the door. The picture I see is my grandfather, grandmother, uncle, and aunt, and a small child. A total of 5 people were sitting in a circle. They were eating together. But then they suddenly stopped. Then they slowly turned their head to look at the door hole with the same eyes. I was so frightened that I backed out. Then he turned and ran into the house in time. This is the whole story. My hair-raising experience, and since I encountered it, thank for enjoying and listening the whole story of mine.